Kayleigh, there was a second confirmed case of COVID-19 here at the White House today, apparently a member of the Vice President's staff. That's 2 in 2 days in a building where people are being tested now, including the President and Vice President. Every day they've had their temperature checked for months here. Why should the average American whose workplace doesn't have access to these rapid tests feel comfortable going to work if the White House isn't even safe for people?
Well, look, this individual, there is a member of the Vice President's team who is positive for coronavirus. We have put in place the guidelines that our experts have put forward to keep this building safe, which means contact tracing, all of the recommended guidelines we have for businesses that have essential workers, we're now putting in place here in the White House. So as America reopens safely, the White House is continuing to operate safely.
Kayleigh, the President, of course, we saw go down to the World War II memorial with a group of 7 American heroes, all in their 90s. Did he give any consideration to wearing a mask, given that his valet just tested positive and he's with some of those in the most vulnerable population? Did he consider wearing a mask while he was with these veterans?
Well, this president is regularly tested. This president will make the decision as to whether to wear a mask or not. I can tell you that those veterans are protected. They made the choice to come here because they've chosen to put their nation first. They wanted to be with their commander-in-chief on this momentous day, and it was their choice to come here. And I can tell you that the president always puts the safety of our veterans first and of the American people first.
Well, how much exposure has he had to his valet? Can you give us a sense?
I can just tell you that we've taken every single precaution to protect the president. The same guidelines that our experts have put in place. We clean the facility, we social distance, we keep people 6 feet away from one another. So we've done every single thing that Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci have asked us to do, and I can assure the American people that their commander-in-chief is protected.
Following up on Jim's questions about getting the economy started again, does the president see the CDC guidelines as an obstacle to getting the country back up and running again? And if it does not see the CDC guidelines as an obstacle, why not release those guidelines to the public and also follow them as we move forward?
So I assume you're talking about the guidelines that were widely reported about yesterday about daycares.
Yes.
Yes. So I would ask you, what's the definition of CDC guidelines? Is it something that the CDC director has actually seen? I would endeavor to say yes. Is it something that a rogue CDC employee leaks to you guys? No, those aren't CDC guidelines. Those are guidelines in draft form that a rogue employee has given you for whatever personal reason they've decided to do that. Those guidelines are in the editing process. We want the American people to get as much information as they can possibly have at this time. That's why we have the phased reopening guidelines, the data-driven guidelines. Those CDC guidelines are going through an editing process, and when we have those, you guys will be the first to know.